Well, Gold Derby fans, it's a very exciting day. I am here with two of the very talented artists behind Schitt's Creek. This is the Emmy-nominated personal hairstylist and personal makeup artist who helped Catherine O'Hara bring Moira Rose to life. I am Sam Eckmann of Gold Derby, and with me is Sorys and Lucky Bromhead. Thank you both for joining me today. I think I just want to dive right into the final episode and that wedding look, because in a show of great Moira Rose looks, it is absolutely one of the wackiest and one of the greatest that we've seen. So it's great that it came in the series finale. So Anna, I'm kind of wondering, where did the idea first gestate to have this hair match what's going to go on her? There's hair integrated into the headpiece. Where did that sort of come from?
So when we got the script to read for the final episode, it was I guess a month or so before, and I went to Catherine with an idea, with a reference, and she loved it. So we both, came up with the idea of using her natural hair color. I had to, measure the piece around the, her Pope hat that she was wearing, and basically construct this piece that ended up being like a stuffed kind of pantyhose. And then I had to figure out how to wrap the hair around it so it looked pristine and could hold up in, shooting all day basically. And I tried everything. I tried sewing it. I tried different lengths of hair, and it just like, I worked on that for like 2 weeks. And then finally, like the night before, Dan came to me and said, you know what, if the idea is not working, it's all good. And I said, nope, I have to do this. And I literally found glue that I used for my kitchen tiles, and it amazingly held up and wrapped around and didn't change the color of the hair, and it was perfection. And then the length of the hair, I knew I wanted something long to go with her wardrobe. And then literally 2 days later, when I saw the final fitting, I was like, you know what, I think the hair needs to be 20 inches longer. So I added 20 inches to the 42 inches that she initially, that I had for her. So that's how it came about.
Quite a statement, look, with the long hair. And Lucky, I have expected her to sort of come out with some gold streak makeup based on how crazy the look is, but she has this very intense smoky eye, which has almost become sort of a staple of her, at least some sort of version of that. Why does that kind of eye work so well for Catherine?
Well, for Catherine, because her eye color naturally is like this laser blue. And so, having all this darkness around her eyes really brings that out. And for Moira, it works because Moira is drama, and she goes to sleep in her eye makeup. So, and she's traveled to all these exotic places, and just like how her accent is kind of mementos from her travels, in a way, her eye makeup is like that as well. And for that look on the last day, I had to figure something out because, there's a reference in the script to her, being able to keep it together. Someone had to keep it together during the ceremony. And, we thought it would be hilarious if she said that line with streak. And, when Catherine acts, she is living those emotions. I'm not in there doing anything with menthol in her eyes or drops or anything like that. She is crying those tears every take. And so we had to figure out something so that it wouldn't burn her eyes. So I used this old school water-based eyeliner essentially for all of her eyeshadow, because I had to keep her mascara waterproof so it wouldn't burn. But let me tell you, I reapplied that makeup. Anya, what would you say, 530 times?
550.
And Anna, there's so many, there over the course of this series, there are many like iconic wigs because she just has a new wig every 10 minutes, it
Mhm.
seems. So what is sort of the process and the secret behind finding a great Moira Rose wig? Is Catherine involved in that process at all?
Well, actually, I shop for her wigs all year round, even like when we're not shooting. So I will go into like small town, Ontario stores, find like, these wig shops from the 1950s and, look for obscure styles. I'll look on the internet, of course, and, order wigs like from Japan. And then, so I like for season 6 specifically, I think I started off with 24 wigs on wig heads. And one of my favorite things about, working on the show was doing a wig fitting with Catherine. And so when it comes time to choose a wig, we actually do it on the fly. It's very rarely that we plan something out. Moira is all about the mood that, her wigs are about a mood and a feeling. Not so much, planning, a wig to what she's wearing. So we kind of just, choose something on the fly, even right before the scene, the day before, just, so it's usually spontaneous, but I most of the, time have everything prepared ahead of time.
Yeah. Are you ever surprised with like how she might use a wig in her physical comedy? I'm just thinking of like, I think it was maybe 2 seasons ago during her Christmas concert where she was in that Cher wig and just whips it across her neck like a scarf.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, especially in season 6, for instance, in 601, I was shopping with Lucky in New York when we were doing press there, and I love going into the wig stores there. And
Can you interject for a second?
Pardon? Oh yeah.
I just want to interject to say that going wig shopping with Anna in New York City is one of my favorite things because we go into the most obscure one. Like she doesn't pick the one that looks like cool and it's the strangest places, and then the bartering and bargaining that girl does. It's a show on its own, and it's an awesome experience to shop.
Thank you. So I remember like seeing this wig in 201, and it was when she was coming out of the closet, and it was a white poodle frizzy wig. And one night we were finished shooting, and Catherine, Lucky, and I, like spur of the moment, Catherine was like, let's like try on some wigs. And we have the most hilarious time trying on these wigs in, like different ways. She'll, one time she put one of Lucky's hand creams on her head and then put a wig on. So it was kind of this tall. And so we're all over the place, creating, and it's usually in our spare time having a good time. And that's where the magic kind of happens, when we're making each other laugh. So yeah.
And Lucky, I have noticed like Moira often has like this big pop of red lipstick, and the color that you use for her makeup is often just very kind of like pinpointed, purposeful color. So where did that come from? How did you sort of decide on that palette?
Well, I think red is just such a power color. And it's classic. It never goes out of style. And when I was doing makeup for Catherine and Annie on the show, I really wanted to have a look for them that made the show somewhat timeless as well. So that, 10 years from now, we can watch these old episodes and not laugh at how ridiculous the trends were. And, so I wanted there to be like a classic element to the makeup as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting though, because while Moira does have a very sort of meditated and specific, pointed approach to what she looks like, it's on the flip side of that, she's a completely visceral character.
Mhm.
and Catherine would really step into that when we were doing the looks. And so, you know,
and that lip shape that you do is amazing.
Right. Wait, I love, it's MAC Ruby Woo. And it's a very blue red. But you know, like with the wig situation, there's days where suddenly everything goes out the window and it's, you know, let's do a purple lip instead, or but the one thing that does not change is the shape of Moira's lips. And for me, that shape is really what makes the makeup of Moira. I know that she has the smoky eye and the pale skin and all that, but the actual shape of the lip is so important. And, you know, last season when we did the crow, and we were fooling around with the makeup and trying to make her look as bizarre as possible. And we took away the lips and suddenly Moira was gone, like gone. So we realized that we had to, you know, that lip shape, and it changes, the lip shape changes a bit depending on her mood. It'll get a little pointier or a little bigger or a little smaller, a little obtuse. So, you know, it's always fun to play with that.
And both of you have been with the show for a long time. So I don't know if there's, either of you can answer, but is there a way, like, when you look back from season 1 to season 6, how has the process kind of changed for you or evolved?
I've been on the show since the first season. Anna, you came in season 3.
Yeah.
And so from season 1, you know, I'm not sure if anything has changed in our approach, because really it was about the writing and reading the script and having conversations with the actors to really dive into what they were feeling. And that process never changed, even though maybe the look evolved and, you know, things would change per episode. The approach to the creative approach didn't change that much. And I'm very grateful for it because, like I said, there was definitely like a structure to our approach, but then there were moments when we got to absolutely throw that out. So it was like having a master class in improv via hair and makeup via Catherine O'Hara.
Mm-hmm. For me, it was I guess my relationship with Moira's wigs evolved over the years, and it started becoming very personal to me where, you know, when I came in on season 3, you know, I brought, you know, 10 wigs to the table. Season 4, the more I evolved with Moira, I would shop for her mood and feelings all year round. It was almost as if like I wanted to spend time with her, even though we weren't shooting. So for me, it was just, I wanted to have as many options as possible because you know, you don't know what the scripts are, you know, are going to bring. And yeah, it was just that.
Yeah. And the show really is so beloved, and people were very sad to see it go. And I think one of the reasons it's so beloved is, you know, besides the great talent that's behind it, there does seem to be genuine love and camaraderie on that set. It sort of feels palpable. So what was it like saying goodbye? When did you kind of realize when did it hit you that it was going to be a goodbye?
Sam!
I'm sorry.
It's the ending? No one told me! No.
I think it's amazing that we've been able to ride the Schitt's Creek train through all of, you know, this COVID and everything that's been going on. It's really like kept us up in, you know, being positive and, you know, keeping the smiles on our faces. So for me, I feel like it's kind of never ending, you know. But I remember when we started episode 1, season 6, we would mark the days like, well, this is the last time that we're going to do this for this episode. And we would, our whole year, our whole season would be like that. Well, this is the last time that so-and-so is going to be here and there. And, you know, so.
Yeah, I remember Eugene coming onto the trailer and just sort of standing there and looking around at the trailer, and I could tell what he was thinking. I knew that he was just taking it in because our days were sort of marked. But it really, you know, we just, in the last season, I found often that I would just have to really dive into the script and the story and forget about, you know, because to me, these characters live forever. It doesn't really, and there's so many people who haven't seen the show that will get to discover the show, and that will happen for years as a result of how we get to view television now. And I'm very grateful for that. But yeah, the last day, I really held it in. And you know, every day I would just pay attention to the work. It was about the work, and we're doing the work. And even Catherine at one point was like, "You're really," you know, because we were emotional all the time. We would tell stories on the trailer, and we would laugh and cry, and you know, all the emotions would happen. But in the last season, I was kind of, and she said, "I'm surprised because usually you're a lot more emotional and you're keeping it all in." And I was like, "Yeah, well, you know, we're here to do a job." And then on the last day, when we came in from base camp and we were approaching the Rose Motel, I lost I lost it. And they had a documentary crew there, and there was a camera in my face, and I am not a pretty crier. So, you know, thankfully that didn't make the cut because yikes. Yeah, I guess I just, you know, I think, but all of us, as all of the actors were being wrapped out for their, you know, final scene, and everyone would, you know, come together and applaud the actors. It was just like there's just been so much care. Every person that comes to that set, every cast and crew member cares so deeply for the show and for the characters. So yeah, it was emotional the last day.
Yeah.
And Lucky and I we've been also, you know, just because of the love of our craft and the amazing fans that the show has, you know, like if we keep the show alive almost by, like, for instance, on Instagram, I'll have Wig Wednesdays, because the fans look forward to that so much. You know, they love all the behind scenes, you know, posts that, you know, we share, and it just makes me happy that it makes them so happy. So
yeah, well, the Emmy voters really finally got on board with this show towards the end, and you guys have a really great send-off with 15 nominations total for the show. Anna, this is your second nomination, and Lucky, this is your first. So just quickly before I let you go, what has that been like, experiencing this really warm welcoming at the Emmys after the final season?
My favorite part was all of the cast texting and calling and being like, yes, you know, like, I'm not going to, you know, say exactly what they said, but it's just in our own, you know, language sort of, but we were all so excited for each other and so speechless, and it was all of our combined hard work and experiences that I'm getting goosebumps, you know, that it's almost incredible that this is happening on, like, during the last season. You know, it kind of, like, these nominations sum up our whole experience, you know, from every season. So
it's so true. And it's just such, I feel very thrilled and grateful. And, you know, through all the seasons of the show, just being able to have a small hand in creating these now iconic characters along with everybody else in the cast and crew. And I can't imagine a better sort of send off to,
Mhm.
you know, it really negates how sad we felt ending the show. It's really lovely, and I'm just very grateful to be part of the whole experience, and to be recognized on this
Mhm.
level is really wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both so much for talking about Schitt's Creek with me. Everyone who's out there watching, make sure you subscribe to Gold Derby to keep in touch with us throughout Emmy season. There's plenty more interviews with contenders just like this one. And on Unlucky, thank you so much. Best of luck at the Emmys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.